Hi, yes. Welcome back to Wild Speculations. I'm Daniel.
I'm Scott.
This week we talk about Critical Role Campaign 3, Episode 8, A Woodworker's Quandary.
Yes, the last episode of the year.
Much better than Episode 7. And Travis was firing on all cylinders. So good. And the episode starts off with them
with the walk
picking up
fire.
Yeah. And his yes, I meant to start the episode off wishing everybody a happy solstice. Because today's the solstice.
Yep.
But yeah, Chetney's irrational dislike of Dorian.
Yeah. And Laudna. To a lesser degree, but
I think any dislike of Laudna is perfectly rational. She's a corpse walking. This gets into
for the same reasons I disagree.
The debate about whether a fear of heights is more rational or a fear of spiders. Yeah. Anyway,
the only legit one is birds. We all know this. So.
We get intros from everybody.
Yes.
And again, just the whole Dorian thing. Why are you so mean to me?
Yeah, that cracks me up every time. Yeah, back up, blue boy, and don't touch me, I'll cut you, to Laudna.
Yeah.
While it was extremely funny in the moment, I hope this is not 2+ years of this every episode.
I don't know, because I was thinking about that. I don't think it's going to be every episode. But I think Travis has more fun when there's tension, when there's friction in the group.
Definitely.
But I don't know. I think I see it devolving into a prank war.
Okay.
And I don't think this is a temporary character.
No. Especially when you look at the fact that they copyrighted this one.
Yeah. Or trademarked, yeah.
Yeah, trademarked this one. Not Bertrand, but this one.
Yeah.
And Matt's tweet that Travis had a lot of fun playing Chutney, and they revised him to be a more serious character so that he could enjoy that same character. Tells me that he's like, hey, I want to do something like this. And they just reworked it to fit in Exandria.
Yeah. The good Wilder, bad Wilder, I loved. And I'm trying to decide if I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will calm down. And there were signs of that, Laudna and Chetney bonding over woodworking, and even going as I think when we get into Dorian's backstory and how that played out, that went a long way to changing that one too.
We find out that he's looking for a dude named Gurge.
Yes. And at the beginning, when he's talking about Gurge and describing him, I thought maybe Duggar. Maybe they were the same. Because if it's like grudge but flip the R and the U in the beginning, Gurge, it's also an anagram for Duggar. It's the same letters scrambled around. But then when he said, about your height, Ashton, I was like, okay, it's not Duggar. And then they went to a different house. But for a minute there, we know Duggar was a woodworker. We know he had greasy hair. We know he was messy. All these descriptors were like, this could be Duggar. Oh, God, they're going to go to the house and it's going to be where they killed Duggar.
I didn't think it was going to be Duggar. But Chetney seems to be the next woodworker that was in line for Duggar's place.
Yeah.
So we may get, again, Matt has folded so many different avenues of the story from each character, funneling into one or more parts of this web of intrigue that's just now beginning to be revealed. That I think it's impossible for them not to go down. Like we were talking, this is probably nothing, or is this some just random thing?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's as connected as how Laura was saying it was.
True.
But it's definitely connected in some way.
Okay.
Chetney says that he specializes in rocking horses. And I think Matt, if memory serves, when they were in Uthadurn, Veth was looking for gifts for Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw some rocking horses. Or that might have been in Jester's hometown. Why am I drawing a blank? Nicodranus. It might, because they actually bought toys from that store in Nicodranus, which was owned by gnomes.
Yeah.
So I think that's how Chetney is connected.
Okay.
To previous campaigns.
I'm okay with that.
And also the Uthadurn connection is closest to the North Pole.
Yeah.
So he gets to keep that aspect. But he seems like he's chasing illicit woodworking jobs, which gets us back to someone is under the table building an airship.
Yeah.
Because you would need carpenters.
And when he's listing off his specialties, he even says he's worked on airships.
Mm-hmm.
And Fresh Cake goes, oh, you mean the little ones like in a bottle? He's like, no, I've never gone that small. So.
Yeah, that's funny. So Master and Commander, Far Side of the World.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen that. Or if you guys have seen it.
Yes.
Russell Crowe.
Once, right after it came out.
Oh. I love the movie. I try to watch it whenever I can. But two of the guys on the boat come in with a model of the ribs of the Acheron. The Acheron. They're like, this is the boat. So I'm wondering if Chetney is going to have something like that where he's going to know the...
Yeah.
Because he would have had to study airships.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Chetney is also the way that Matt can connect what was happening up north with what's happening down here in the south. Where the airships are exclusive to exclusively built by this one group here in the South, and we have fresh cut grass, a ormaton from the South, not from the North.
Right.
So, and a flying city in Dorian's home.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't necessarily rely on broomstone. That could just be elemental magic.
Yeah, and I think it is. And
yeah.
Especially the way they described it as a floating tent city.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So, yeah, I think that one's probably elemental, but it keeps the flying city themes
yes,
alive. I loved, because Dorian has continued to be more and more uncomfortable with applause from the group. And when Chetney is fucking with him, he's like, oh, it's almost like I just said that. And just, well, did you go and ask them? No, that's a good thought, though.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a good thought, Eric?
Yeah.
Everyone starts applauding. It's just like, they're going to give him a complex.
But at least they're not calling him Prince Dorian anymore.
Yet. That's coming back. I guarantee you that's coming back.
Yeah, probably, but...
Imogen, confused by the English language.
Yeah.
Hovel, hovel. And I think part of that is because the accent work that she's doing. I think for some words, to get the vowel sounds right, she, in her mind, sees the word.
Yeah.
That's why she said, I see shovel.
Hovel instead of hovel.
Yeah.
And see, my brain, when I hear hovel, I remember the ah sound because I think hoggle from Labyrinth.
And yeah, Rose. I say it's definitely coming back because not just if they go to his house, but because like they got confirmation at the end of the episode.
Oh, especially now that they know his full name.
Yeah.
His real name.
Yeah. And Imogen saying, Your Majesty.
Yeah.
Or Your Highness, or what was it? I think it was Your Highness.
Your Highness, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. And for the joke of it, I am going to say at some point the next 40 to 50 episodes, at some point, Dorian is going to be in brass or bronze undergarments.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not sure
now,
how exactly
when you
it's
say 40
going
to
to
50
happen.
episodes, does that mean no sooner than 40 episodes from now? Or sometime between now and 50 episodes?
Sometime between now and episode 60.
Okay. Just want to clarify that. Do we have 30 episodes before it's going to come up, or is it going to be any time?
I don't think it will be later. I think it will be sooner than tier 3. But I think he's gonna have a Princess Leia moment in the metal underwear.
Okay.
I don't know. I just have that feeling.
Yeah.
They start. I love that Travis kept bringing it back to this is a transactional relationship that we have. And he's like, well, how much do you guys want? I'm like, Oh, we haven't actually talked about setting our own prices.
How much you got?
Love Fern. Yeah, Fern remaining the number one reason to keep watching. But was it Laudna or Imogen that said that he might make her a toy?
Imogen, because Laura leaned over and said it to Ashley.
Okay, I can't remember who had said it.
And then Laudna chimed in, oh, yes, a toy, because after Fern asked for the rocking horse for Mister, Laudna pops in and a top, a little wooden top, and a girlfriend for Pate.
Yeah. Travis's reaction is like, I can almost see him scratching. What, toys? Yeah. And I'm wondering how long it is before we get a Punch and Judy show from Laudna with Pate and whatever she names. Does she name?
What goes with Pate?
Well, no, because I'm just thinking, depending on how much she knows or how much Orem can tell her about the current leadership of Whitestone, is the girlfriend going to be named some sort of Vexalia pun?
Possibly.
Yeah. Yeah, Rose.
Yeah. I love. I am still. I know that she said she's trying to get her own power and she's taking sorcerer levels, but I still wanted to take that 3rd level dip, just that 3rd level, to get a familiar back to the chain and make Pate.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I think that's going to happen by 6th level.
Yeah.
She'll be 3 and 3. Just because that's sort of, in theory, that brings the build online.
If she's going coffee walk, yeah.
Oh, yeah, especially, yeah. Which Z just came out with a video talking about how, yeah, it's kind of legal.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
In my mind, I still just want her to go far enough to get the Eldritch Spear invocation and with Spell Sniper and the Reach spell, the one that extends the reach, and just be like, I will fuck you up from any distance. I don't care if you're on another continent.
Well, also, it's like...
I mean, it's not really that
her
far,
being
but...
able to do that also, like, there will never be a reason for her to be anywhere close to the front line.
Which is good. She's got a 5 strength.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's, as you said, she's already a cadaver.
Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be fun. So, Taliesin and Ashley both had side comments that nobody picked up on, or seemingly picked up on. It didn't get a laugh really at the table. And Taliesin's was when they were talking about ticking clocks. Because he's like, your thing is a ticking clock. And he's like, no more than yours. Speaking of ticking clocks, how old are you?
Aren't we all?
Yeah, and he's like, speaking of ticking clocks, how old are you? And then Ashley's was talking about Pate and his potential new girlfriend. Ashley says, oh, I've seen a puppet show like that. And no one, it just sort of went by.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give it credit here. And also, is this the kind of show that the traveler prefers than going to the theater?
I think he prefers anything than going to the theater, but...
They were all excited by the prospect of having a rogue in the party, as we said they would be.
Yep.
Uh,
And he is the most intelligent member of the party, with a 15 intelligence.
Oh, I didn't even.
Next in line
that.
is Orm with the 13.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was the smartest, unless he brings in someone smarter again.
Yeah. I don't know if Ashton's jealous about it.
I think he's cautious about it.
I don't even think it's so. I think it's the first instance where he was doing something, and now this new guy's gonna do it.
Hmm.
But he also wasn't volunteering very much to pick locks.
Yeah.
He did it as sort of as a last resort after he watched everyone bang their heads against it. So I don't think it's a jealousy thing. If anyone's jealous at the table about the rogue thing, it's Liam. And because I do wonder if they had a rock, paper, scissors over who's going to play the rogue. Like, because we know he did Orm for EXU, and Orm's a fighter.
Well, Orm was...
And a halfling rogue is sort of...
Yeah, Orm in EXU was a playtest to see if he really wanted to play it in Campaign 3, though. Mm. It was this... Orm and Fern were their Campaign 3 pitches, and they used EXU as Session 0.
Mm. Okay.
Per Matt via Twitter.
Mm.
So, and yeah, I don't think, if there was that, I don't think Liam was involved because, like, he even stated in the EXU after show, he played the rogue, he played the wizard, he's playing the fighter, he's going through he says the 4 core, which means next is cleric, which I called for Campaign 3 because I didn't realize that he was going to be porting over, that it was the Session 0. So, if Orm dies, he'll bring in a cleric. Or Campaign 4, he'll bring in a cleric.
Sort of got confirmation the black is ectoplasm.
Yes. Residue of her necromantic abilities.
Yeah. The first time we've ever gotten passive perception whispers.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. I don't know if that was the best way for Matt to do that. Just because it was cool for it to happen. But, like, it called a lot of attention to it to get up like that. Whereas I think if he would have texted him, it would have been different. But,
yeah,
6 1, half dozen the other. But, again, it's Matt keeping things moving.
Yeah.
Sam proves that not only does he not watch their programming, he might also not be there when he's at the table. Because he asks Fern about stealing again and gets the same answer, basically.
Yeah.
Which gets Chetney defensive as well. And forces another conversation with Dorian.
And see, I didn't take that as, like, he forgot he asked or he wasn't paying attention. More that, he even said when he announced, when we first found out that this was a homebrew subclass when they first said, when we were given the name, the Order of Empathy, that he was like, well, what if it was just a therapist? And, you keep going back to those questions to get to the heart of the issue.
I see. I just took it that he just didn't remember he asked it.
Yeah. See, I didn't take it that way.
Okay.
Sam is too much of a detail long game player.
Well, do you think then that he set that up as a trigger for Chetney?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I buy that.
So
it was more funny to me to think that Sam just doesn't pay any attention to when he's at the table.
That is hilarious. I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah, I guess Rose is with you that he set it up.
Yep.
It's too good of an argument that you made. I have to acknowledge that. We have Orem trying to induce Imogen to make mental contact. Mm-hmm. And we get a Verizon, can you hear me now? Joke out of it.
Yeah.
And she plays telephone between Imogen and Orem, or Laudna and Orem.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Laudna's overreaction. Now, don't look, but there's a person. Don't you look!
Yeah, Fern is your reason to tune in. Laudna is mine.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Laudna and Fern are...
Yeah, they're both right there. But.
Yeah. But he tells them that their tale is here. And Laudna messages him, and Imogen talks into his head. And
yes, they're coming up. We won't hurt you.
And Matt's like, no, we GTFO.
Yeah. Which is a reasonable response when two women, one of them who is dead, enter your mind and say, come into this private room, we won't hurt you.
Yeah. There are Greek heroes who dealt with that kind of thing.
I would probably GTFO too. I mean, I would have to seriously weigh it because I'm just mentally unstable enough to be tempted, but I would 60-40 I would leave too.
Chetney volunteers to tail this guy.
Yes, to join Orem.
And they learn the downside of the small race. 25-foot movement speed.
Yeah.
No discussion of bonus action dash, though.
No. Bertrand 2.0.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the potential, especially when Orem was like, hey, you hang out with this random guy that's been watching us. I'm going to go back and get the group.
Yeah. I did love the, oh, come on, man.
Yeah. This is fantasy heroics.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta confront it. Look, you've been following us. What do you want? He says, I'm looking for the blue one. And so it's like, okay. Oh yeah, the pseudonym joke. Yeah. Yeah, Rose, that's a good point. I didn't clock Bertrand connection there, but yeah, that's fair. But I loved his. I get on the other side and look the opposite way. So you're looking for the blue one, huh? I got a dicey read on him. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think of that one? You think he's trustworthy? Yeah, yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot to mention the during the introductions when Chetney comes back to Dorian after chastising him for not letting the women go first. And he says, Dorian, my name's Dorian. He's like, you look like a Dorian. Well, the joke's on you.
Yeah. Joke's on you.
Which, of course, made everyone who watched EXU laugh.
Right.
And Matt laughed as well.
Yeah.
So good. And
all of them that were in EXU laughed.
Yeah.
Like, had the biggest laughs at
that. It's his brother again.
Yep.
Who did say, they did set up, I'll meet you at the Spire by Fire. And there's a little bit of a confrontation between the brothers.
Yeah. Very... I'm not sure if he was overly defensive or just passive-aggressive about it, Dorian.
Oh, it's sibling rivalry all over it. And this is the one thing the younger brother thinks that he has on his older brother. That he left. Struck out on his own. And now the older brothers come. So he feels the shadow falling on him even out here. And so he's resentful of that.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. I guess sibling rivalry is different when you're the only boy.
Yeah.
So...
I'm also the oldest, so I'm not speaking from experience in this.
I couldn't... Well, I'm the youngest, but I'm the only boy, so... I didn't really pick up on that, but I can see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, because I didn't get it at first either on the first watch.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until I rewatched it and prepping for the show that it sort of clicked in my head that, no, it makes sense if you look at it from that point of view of the sibling rivalry, his always being in his brother's shadow. I did this. This is my identity, and now you are taking it from me.
Yeah, I can see that. It was just very...
Got a little uppity, though.
Very much everyone trying to blame the other kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But he gets very sort of high and mighty, making fun of the fact that his brother got caught up in the criminal element and has a bounty out for him and all this stuff. Conveniently forgets when he landed in Amman, he got caught up in a thieves guild and ended up with a bounty on his head and had to leave town. But we won't say anything, no one's going to tell his brother that.
No, but they did say, Imogen was like, yeah, you've almost died a couple of times. See, I'm not the only one that's...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, we all almost died together then. We all...
Yeah, and he's like, that's getting a little hurtful. But, yeah. But you notice that Fern and Orem, who were there for all that shit, quiet.
Who actually know about this thing you're making fun of him. That was like you, 3 months ago.
Yeah. And again, Matt taking parallels. And I think I was thinking about this because the way Matt described him, it sounds almost like he took Dorian's stats that he rolled and maybe changed a couple of them.
Mm.
Just swapped them.
Yeah.
But high strength, high charisma.
Yeah.
They're both very much in that vein.
Just use the same stats, just put them in different spots where he needed them.
Yeah. So
I think that's a good way to make a family member that's of similar age, you know.
Yeah. We're beginning to get more of the intrigue. We get the job post. We get the sort of the double cross the story that he tells about the double cross that got him the bounty on his head. That reeks of family politics.
Yep.
So, yeah. Again, Matt dropping hints through different people's backstories to draw each person into one piece of the puzzle or another.
Right.
And ideally, these threads lead to different families.
Yes.
Because it is more interesting from a storytelling perspective to have those connections go to different places. And also has the players... Bad. I mean, maybe not. Okay, so this... You say that, and I thought about this during this episode. That Campaign 1 was very much the heroic journey. They were all heroes from the beginning. Campaign 2, all the players are sort of in the gray area.
Mm-hmm.
Campaign 3, the characters seem to be more on the good side.
Yeah.
We don't have that many, I murdered my family's storylines in this group. But the world is much more gray.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of that in Campaign 2 with some of the imperial politics that
the war stuff.
we danced around. But this one, diving into the political intrigue of the city, of the continent, potentially Exandria, Matt, I think, is wading deeper into the gray areas where, some of the stuff that this family does is underhanded and wrong, but they're doing it for the right reasons, or they're trying to do things to make things better for people. So.
Yeah. But when I don't know.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there will be an evil family that are out for themselves and will do anything to hurt anyone as long as they are the ones on top.
I'm not arguing that, but realistically, when you start doing the wrong things for the right reason, you're like jumping down a slippery slope.
Yes. And I think might be one of the underlying themes of the campaign.
Yeah. And there's a reason they say power corrupts.
Yeah. We had almost another Travis Ashley ship start when she invites Chetney to share their bed. And he's like, "Oh, you're good. And, you're a little short for me, but
I can make it work."
Yeah.
Some wisdom.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, same here.
Yeah. And he, quick as fuck, backed up off that. Let's just keep it professional. Because I think he realized, wait a minute, I don't want ships in my D&D. Nope.
This is not a Reese's Pieces roll.
And arguably, a fawn and a gnome make a better match than a fawn and a human.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. Especially a gnome who's never settled down or anything.
Yeah.
We get a piece of the public sort of PR war that's happening with that job post. It's a political post demanding people go to the quorum and demand that they bring in a mercenary company because the wardens aren't doing the job.
Yep.
And I think Laura might have been right. And it was another one of those moments where everyone at the table talked over it, blew right by it.
Yep.
And she says, I bet the mercenary company put this up.
Yep.
The mercenary company putting up propaganda so that the people in the town demand the leadership pay them to come in and clean things up.
That's just smart marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have to give a shout out to Laura for that. Because, yeah, they just walked right by it. And she might be right about that.
Yes.
They go to the Smolder Spire
Yep.
to find Gurge's hovel.
Crossed by cable car. Interesting discussion about that.
Yeah, and Fern getting it rocking.
Yeah. Oh, look! The cable's frayed. Oh. See, the thing is, if it had been Sam in that position at the table and saying that, like last game, he would have been hit. Laura would have smacked him.
Yeah, maybe. But it does make Fresh Cut Grass use a spell slot.
Yep.
Which they may be in want of.
It's not that big a deal. He's the only healer.
5th? The first Thursday in next year. Yeah. We learn about direwolf attacks.
Yes.
And I think Gurge is the way that Matt brings in the wilds, the jungle.
Okay.
Because it was said very quickly in passing that he lives in the jungle.
Yes.
And I don't think it's an accident that the direwolves started their attack at his house.
No.
Because they would have had to go up.
Yeah.
To the factory.
Yeah. Do you think it's a werewolf thing?
That's my first guess.
Yeah, mine too, especially since you're like, I don't even know how direwolves got in here.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings me, we talked before we knew about Chetney, about Travis being part of that house, Luna, and possibly being. And I'm wondering if maybe he still might be. There's an uncommon magic item in Van Richten's guide, which is perfect for Travis.
Okay.
It's called Harken's Bite. It's a little wolf fang on a leather strap. It's basically a luck stone. Gives you +1 on ability checks and saving throws. But it also curses you with lycanthropy until the next full moon. And if you're wearing it on the full moon, it prolongs the curse to the next full moon. So even if you remove curse, so you can take the necklace off, you still have lycanthropy to the next full moon. And then it's gone. But if you're wearing the necklace, and that would be a way, and it would also be a reason for him to be a gnome rogue with a high strength. He may be playing his werewolf after all. And I just thought the frazzled hair and stuff, and I was just like, maybe. It's out there. It's not likely, but maybe.
It's fair. I don't think Chetney is going to be the vehicle for his werewolf fantasy that he wants to play. But you never know.
Yeah.
We see the corrupt Wilders. And Fern learns the downside of scouting and eavesdropping as a druid in wild shape. She says she has a plan.
It's to use her other wild shape. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Rose. I want to see this gnome just pop up and turn into this huge ass wolf.
Or a Tasmanian devil. Tiny
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. I mean, there's entertainment value in it. I won't deny it. But I don't know. It doesn't strike me as how Travis wishes to explore that. Don't get me wrong. I think if that item comes up and he can get his hands on it, he will, and lovingly so. But I don't think it's in his plan.
All right. Like I said, I don't think it's likely, but I think it would be amazing if it happened. And just the retie to werewolves got me thinking about that.
Yeah. I think Fern's plan is charm person.
Yeah, she has seen it used to great success between EXU and Campaign 3. With Opal tying up the guard in public and...
and Fern using it on the leader of the Thieves Guild.
Yeah.
To get them out of the city.
Yeah. And when...
So I think charm person is what she's gonna fall back on. We'll see though.
Either that or using her other wild shape to summon Mister and teleporting.
Yes. And have him block the way for her.
Yeah.
As she runs. Yeah, that could work too. Yeah, I think we start to see more. They'll deal with the guards however it is they're going to deal with them. Hopefully without digging a hole for themselves. Because assaulting a police officer is a deep hole real quick.
Yeah.
Do you think they start a prison break plan immediately? Or do you think that's a few sessions away? If indeed he's in prison. Because I don't know that he's in prison. The guy just told them to tell him that he was in jail and that he would deal with it.
I don't think we see it right away. I think we see them wait a while, get concerned about Fern, try to figure out what happened, while she's making her escape attempt. Because while Ashley said, "Don't worry, I have a plan," none of the characters know that.
In theory, Imogen does. Just because she still has mental contact with her.
But she would have to say something.
Yes.
She doesn't get the senses through.
True.
So unless Fern tells her something, or Imogen says, "Hey, how's it going?" and Fern replies,
yeah,
they're not going to know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think no matter what, we will begin to unravel the family alliances happening.
Yes.
Next episode. I don't know that we'll get an intro to the evil family, the truly bad ones. I think that's probably...
Oh, no, we'll go through the red herring ones first. The ones that are only mildly evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think in the next couple of episodes, it probably isn't going to happen in the next couple of episodes, but they're going to uncover their reason for why they're going to end up leaving the city. They'll get the breadcrumbs for that.
Yeah, well, especially with
the broomstone.
If Gurge is a connection into the jungle.
Yeah.
That could be what takes them out. They get him out of whatever confinement he's in and have to run into the jungle.
Yeah.
And maybe once they're in the jungle, they intercept another shipment for the broomstone, maybe. Maybe they get a lead on who's building this ship.
I think we're going to have 2 to 3 episodes exploring the family politics before we jump outside the city.
Yeah. Which would coincide with 5th level.
Yeah.
Because that would be about the time.
Yeah. Give the martial characters extra attack,
Yeah.
Give 3rd level spells to the casters.
Yeah, Rose, my interest in the masked lords, as it were, is more to do with how Matt reconciles that with sort of the reality that doesn't work. Like, you can have shadowy oligarchs influencing things, but the leadership of a city, of a kingdom, has to be visible.
Yeah.
And thus far, the families have not been presented, the situation has not been presented that there's shadowy oligarchs influencing things behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, even in Roman politics, which a lot of fantasy things draw from, even in Roman politics, where you had wealthy people buying elections, essentially, their families were in the Senate.
Yeah.
So, while there was a lot of...
Is this Roman or American politics?
American politics is based on Rome, so...
I know. I think there's potential for that.
Yes, I think Esteros is definitely one of them. Or is angling to become one.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's pledging.
just because, like, in any game setup situation like that, if the players or you want the players to play heroes, to be heroes, they have to work for somebody who is of that mindset.
Yeah.
And that person either has to be on the council secretly, or is angling to be on the council, or has so many connections in the council that they are basically the power behind the secret thrones.
Yeah.
But Esteros doesn't strike me as that figure.
Correct.
But I could definitely see him being a Masked Lord's figure where he's sending people here and there to do the bidding.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think he sees the Corsairs as an opportunity, a means of overthrowing the corrupt leaders in the council.
Yes.
But to know who those people are, you have to be on the council.
Yeah. Yeah, he sees the Corsairs, like, if he can manipulate their actions, he can improve his seat of power.
Yeah. And I think I think we start to see some of that unfold.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Probably the second episode of the next year. So episode 10. I think we uncover the first secret leader. I think you have to.
Okay.
And they're in a position to suss that out with going into this factory, uncovering a secret detention center, and potentially somebody who's on the outside of the city trying to undermine. Because he may have been trying to get Chetney installed as a mole.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So the next 2 Thursdays, the golem device. Yeah, they're gonna have to fight that.
It's essentially, not that it's going to use the same stat block, but it's essentially the same role as the Clockwork Guardian in the prison in Campaign 2 in Upperduke.
Yeah. So the next 2 Thursdays from 6 to 10 Mountain Standard Time, I'm going to run a game. For those of you watching this on YouTube, on Thursday, tonight, and next Thursday. Either an undead or an infernal-based adventure. Undead will be in Nadai, and the infernal will be on Araku. Friday, I'm going to stream. I'm thinking from 12 to 4. And I'll be playing either Star Sector or RimWorld. I might read some of my novel. I don't work on Monday, so on Monday I might stream. Again, 12 to 4. And Tuesday next week at 5 o'clock, rather than
7 Mountain Standard.
Yeah, at 5 o'clock, we're going to do a Civilization 6 hot seat game together.
Yep.
So, look forward to that. And I think New Year's Eve, I might also do a stream from 12 to 4. Star Sector, RimWorld, something like that. Whatever I feel like playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope to see you guys there.
Hey.